Okay. So, hello, viewers from all around the world. Hope you're doing very well. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on your time zone. My name is Karim Shita, and I am the founder of Food for Thought. Today, we have a very important interview of our featured topic called Art and Joy, where we'll be discussing the connection between art and happiness and how it adds happiness and a sense of self-satisfaction to our lives. Before I introduce our very special guest for today, I just want to quickly point out to our viewers, should you have any questions at any point throughout the interview, kindly place them in the comment section below on YouTube, where we're currently live streaming, and we'll be sure to get to them by the end of the interview, inshallah. Now, let's introduce our guest for today, who I'm sure is going to provide a fun, beneficial, and inspiring interview about the topic of art and joy. So please help me welcome Assel E-Rayes. Hello, Assel. How are you doing?
Hi there. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm very pleased that I'm here today. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Assel E-Rayes. I live in Canada, and I'm an artist and art instructor. I'm very interested in art and positive psychology. And I find that there is a deep connection between art, positive psychology, and joy in general.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this brief and lovely introduction. So you mentioned our two main points for today. You mentioned art and positive psychology. So let's take them one by one. Let's start with art. How were you introduced to the art world, and what type of art did you plan to focus on by time?
Well, art, like art is my life, and to put it in a very simple way. Since I was a little girl, I loved to draw, and then when I grew up a little bit, I started painting, and this is my you know how artists have their own world, and painting is my world. Like, I feel it's the way I communicate and I connect to the world.
Mm-hmm. That's lovely. I can feel your passion when you're describing your love for art, and I can definitely relate to what you're saying. I'm not a professional like you, but I feel like drawing sort of transfers you to another world. You feel like you're separate from the current world and doing something you love. So you said you started by drawing and then painting. So is it safe to say that currently you focus on painting art, not sketching?
Yes, right now I'm focused on painting, of course, and I love to paint in acrylics and oil colors. And I love to do abstract art mainly. And sometimes you will find like surrealism is happening in the painting. So I work intuitively. I paint I go with the flow with the painting. I just start and things happen while I'm painting. So yeah, so that's how I work.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I find like positive psychology resonated with me a lot when it comes to painting, because I feel there is a very strong connection between the two fields.
Well, it's good that you brought up positive psychology, because that leads me to my next question. But I'm very curious to know, is the painting behind you one of your pieces?
Yes, yeah. I'll just...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's lovely. So this is an example for abstract art, right?
Yes, yeah.
Nice. Does abstract, because I've always had this question, does abstract mean that every person can interpret it in a different way? Because when I saw the painting, I just imagined like a sunrise and a house and a lake. That's what I saw. I don't know if that's the point.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I like abstract, because each person you would hear lots of things about your work, and you Sometimes it resonates with me, what people say, and sometimes I say, oh my God, how did they see this? Like, it's amazing how people interpret the work.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's one of the beauties of art indeed. And let's go back to the point about positive psychology. So you said you felt there's a connection with it. So my question is, how and when were you introduced to positive psychology and that it's actually, in fact, connected to the art world?
That was like the start was when I was in the diploma program studying. And can I share now my screen? I just want to show the viewers the piece that I will talk about.
Please.
This piece is called Transition, and I did it in 2016 while I was in the diploma program. It was one of my final projects. And through this painting, I thought that I will create this piece by documenting how I feel each day. And then I will conclude the whole thing in one piece. And I started, and this is a real depiction of my feelings at the time. So I was in a gloomy state of mind here on the left side. Yes. And so the colors were like black and white and some grays. And then when I moved to being a little bit like trying to clear out, and so here comes the blues, started to cool down, and and then it started to brighten up little by little and move to the brightest state. So here, when I saw this and I focused, like I used to focus on the black and then the middle piece and then and I felt this transition between the moods has shifted my mood too. Like it's true that I expressed my feelings, but then I found that when I look at the colors, it really lifts my spirit up when I reach to the bright side of the,
Yes. Wow.
And and this is how I thought, like, colors really have magical effects on our psychological state.
Exactly.
It's
very true. And I love the piece. Like it's like even when you're explaining it, it all shows it's like a story and how it was gloomy and then color was introduced. And it just reminds me, like when you see the sunset, you see like a collection of colors, yellow and orange and sometimes purple, and you feel happier. So I agree with you. Yes, color definitely adds a lot to our lives.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing this piece. Can I ask how long it took you to do all of this?
This one, like I forgot how many pieces they are, but like the pieces, each piece depicts one day.
Yeah.
And then the big piece is the final day.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I think they're around like 30 plus pieces. So that's like, I guess, around a month or so. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, lovely. Thank you so much.
So it's a calendar of my feelings.
Yeah, that's a lovely title. It is.
Yeah.
So that's like, so you're saying when you received your diploma and you did your project, that's when you started slowly entering the positive psychology world or realizing the connection between it and art?
Yeah, this was the spark that made me feel, okay, there is a strong connection between colors and how we feel. And then when the pandemic happened and I went inward too much, like I just went inwards. And back then I started looking for online courses and see what am I gonna do in this? Because we were locked down and there is nothing else to do. So I just focused on how can I improve myself in this time, you know? And
Yeah.
what happened is that I found a course on Udemy called Positive Psychology Art Coaching.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, it's by an instructor called Mira Khatib. So I took this course and like I felt I am born for this. I feel like this is exactly what I want to be. I want to be an art coach and make people feel happy while they are making the art. You know, this is my main idea. And then after that, I started to see more courses on positive psychology, and that's how I got there. Like
Wow.
I feel that my destiny was like just putting me in the in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. I can totally, this is a very inspiring story, honestly, and it just comes to show that like things are meant to be. So you started out as an artist and suddenly you have this positive psychology aspect, which is, and that's actually when I was introduced to positive psychology also in the pandemic. So I guess, yeah, that's how things come about naturally.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I do have to mention him since he's a mutual friend and he introduced us. So I do have to mention, how did Brocco Public come into the picture? How did you find out about him?
Yes, because I started looking for more courses. You know, for me, when I get interested in a topic, I would go all the way in it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I started looking for more courses on positive psychology and art and see what I can do with that. And then I found his course on Udemy too. Like there is a course, art coaching, positive psychology, art coaching.
Yeah.
I took this course too.
Mm-hmm.
When I finished this course, and I told Braco about that because I was like looking at the course and I finished it and I said, okay, then what, you know? And then I saw the LSA link.
Yeah.
And I pressed on it like I was, and I found myself in the LSA and you know, and
The community.
yes, and I joined and everything. So that's how it happened, and I'm very glad that it happened actually because, like I was telling them, like I felt that destiny put me here. I just don't know how I got there. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm definitely happy as well to be on the LSA community, not only obviously for getting to know you and having you today, but also for all the things that I'm sure you've learned as well from Brocco's teachings.
Yes, of
And
course. Yeah.
for anyone watching and who doesn't know who Brocco Pobrik is, I've had him on the page a couple of times before, and he's one of the leading experts in positive psychology. And as Assel mentioned, he has this company called Life Success Academy. We'll talk about it more if we have time at the end. Okay, so thank you so much, Assel, for that. And actually, speaking of your history and your journey, I was reading the website, and if anyone hasn't read it yet, please be sure to check out Estel's poster. There is a link to her website. It's amazing and to the point. So you mentioned that you had experience in mindfulness and positive psychology, and then there was the term art therapy. And I just want to shed light on this because I remember hearing this term a few years back, and I was like, how is art related to therapy? That's like, it seems like two different things. So if you could shed light a bit on the concept or definition of art therapy, what it's about.
Yes, I'll tell you something now. I'm not an art therapist. I'm not. I don't claim to be, but I am a strong believer that art has therapeutic and healing energy in when you're doing it. Like because I've experienced it myself, and I know for sure it is. Yeah, like. I will share with you a piece here that I did
Please.
in 2013. And this piece can you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So it's, I think
Take your time.
I got out, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got out.
Yeah.
Can
Cool.
you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So this piece, in 2013, I was going through like a state where I didn't know where to go in my life.
Mhm.
So I went to school, I went back to school, and I took a course called art therapy. I just wanted to explore in that.
Yeah.
And in the final class, the instructor asked us to create a plaster, either mask, we cover our face with the plaster, or we cover our palm.
Yeah.
So I decided to cover my palm because I don't feel comfortable covering my face.
Mhm.
So, and then after we're done, like we put the plaster, we waited until it dried, and then we took it off. So she said, now you can paint it, you can decorate it, you can do whatever you want with this.
Mhm.
So I, naturally, I picked the colors that I like, and I started painting the palm. And then I thought, okay, what else do I need to do? How can I make it more beautiful? So I painted those two small pieces, and I put it on the hand. After that, the teacher said, okay, now I want you to reflect on this. What does it tell you? What do you feel? What does it make you feel? How do you feel that it sends you any message? Does it tell you anything? And I was like it didn't take me much to figure it out. I thought, okay, so this is what I have to offer. This is what I know most, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, there is something about art that I really, I feel it's the thing that I want to do for the world, if I may say that.
Yes.
And after that, in the same period, I was taking a landscape painting class with my favorite instructor. And she was like, Assel, why don't you join the diploma program? You will do great in this program. And I feel that you are a diploma student. And I was like, okay, I think that, connecting all the things together, I was like, okay, I'll join the diploma program. And I went right ahead. Like I after these two incidents, I took the diploma. I registered in the diploma program, and I started right away. Now, since then, I started noticing how important it is, and the link between art and therapy. Like I didn't go for art therapy rather than this one. It's only the only class that I went to in art therapy, but I was like focusing on like the healing effect of painting all the way.
Yeah.
And I started remembering in the past, and then when I'm like getting older and all that. After the diploma, unfortunately, my dad's health was deteriorating and things like that. And the only, like, beside, of course, my family's support and everything, but painting was my safe place to go whenever I wanted to express myself. So I created a whole series of paintings called Sketches of the Soul. And this series, like I expressed all my feelings during this time. Since my dad started to feel sick and until afterwards, like when he passed away. And so this series really made me a great believer in therapy and art. Like even, and I find it's a very safe place to go to if you believe in the, if it's of its effect. And
absolutely. Firstly, I'm very grateful for that story and for that powerful example. I'm a believer from that story alone, and obviously I'm very sorry for what happened to your father, and just the inspiring aspect about how it's sort of like a visual form of therapy. You can have a therapy when you're talking or a therapy when you're writing, but I don't think a lot of people realize the importance of visual therapy and art, as you mentioned. And I do have to comment on one thing. I love your titles for so like you talked about the one that we saw at the beginning, and then this one, forgive me if I mention it wrong, you said it's called Sketches of the Soul. Was that the title?
For the whole series, yes.
For the whole series. Yeah. How do you choose these titles? I know this is a technical question, but because like I used to write articles and I found it very difficult to choose a title for my article, but you're really spot on when you choose ones for art pieces. So how do you come up with these titles?
It's more of like, I'll tell you something now. Before I become like an art instructor, I studied Arabic literature, as my main profession. Yeah. So and I like my bachelor degree is in Arabic literature, and I'm very much poetic, and like I have this in me, I think. Yeah. But like I guess it takes a lot of thinking when it comes to my like sometimes I would say untitled on the piece because it didn't it's more than the words can tell. Yeah, if that makes sense to you. Yes. But like I feel like, you know how when people get their newborn and they say, I want to name him this, you know, intuitive, and it's, So I would take some time to think about it. Now this, for example, this piece, it took me two minutes maybe to find the name, because it's what I want to offer to the world. That's what I want to, that's what I can share with people, you know. And Sketches of the Soul, maybe because I have a strong opinion about art. And I think, like, if I want to take a sketch of a landscape, for example, I would rather than painting the landscape, I would take a good photo of this. And so Sketches of the Soul, just to make it to make the world understand that there is more than the visual and what we see outside of ourselves. Yeah. The Sketches of the Soul is when people go inwards and they see what's happening inside each one of us. Like sometimes it's very bright and beautiful and colorful, and sometimes we feel gloomy and sad, and so that's how I came up with this particular, like, Sketches of the Soul.
Amazing. I couldn't have said better myself. And I when you said like sometimes you leave it untitled, I used to do that. Sometimes I leave the title till after I finish the piece, and then I'll think about the title, because like you said, you have to choose something that expresses your message. Like Sketches of the Soul, it's 4 words, but it says everything. So you have to be very selective, and I'm sure your Arabic literature background helped with that. So no, it's amazing.
Thank you.
No, very impressive. So you were saying, you mentioned the healing aspect of art in general, whether it's art therapy or positive psychology or whatnot. So I was just wondering, what other benefits did you gain over time, whether on a personal, social, or professional level? Because You mentioned for healing alone, you said so many inspiring things. Are there any other added values or benefits that you got over the time?
Of course, yes. Like, I'll tell you something, like art to me is not only something that I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's my true passion. It's what I feel like I was born to do. And it's my language. Sometimes when words are not enough, I find that colors and the way I express myself in a painting tells a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is part of it. Now the other part, the healing part, and the grounding part, and like when you for example have you feel some emotions and you put it all out.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes you feel at peace afterwards.
True.
And when you feel this groundedness and you feel this peace, you become more focused, you become more successful in life, you become more, even people around you would pretty much love to be around you because you are at peace. You are like a good friend for people.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's how, like, I feel art is as I told you, it's my whole life. It's something that is more than words to express, actually.
Yeah. And that's why you express it through art, as you mentioned before. And I feel it's like a butterfly effect, what you're saying. It's like you said, you express your emotion, and that sort of resonates or reflects in your work. You become more focused and successful, or on a social level with your friends and family. So that's a very interesting connection. I would have never imagined it to be so powerful or so impactful. Have you witnessed, like, so you've shared your story, and honestly it's amazing, but have you witnessed like other stories of impact with other people, maybe someone, a client or a friend, that was also impacted by the power of art in their lives?
Yes, of course, I won't allow myself to tell their stories, but
Mhm.
I would love to tell you that many people like many of my co-workers or friends in the art school, art has a very strong impact on them.
Mhm.
And it really, like what I told you, it's what they feel too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it seems the benefits are mutual or common between all the people who enjoy art.
Yeah.
So that's very fascinating. Okay, so until this point, let me just quickly recap what we've covered in case someone has just logged in.
Sure.
So
Yes.
we've
Yeah.
talked a little bit about you. We've talked about the connection between art and positive psychology, between art and therapy, some of the benefits, and you shared your amazing pieces and story. Now, someone at this point, such as myself, might be watching and saying, okay, I'm in. I want to try to add more art to my life. I want to try these benefits. So my question to you is, what can people do, like exercises or such, to add art to their lives? Whether it's someone who's an amateur or doesn't particularly practice art a lot, or someone who's an advanced professional, for example.
Mm-hmm. Now, art, I feel that art is a broad expression. Like it can be painting, it can be drawing, it can be dancing, it can be music, it can be poetry and novels, and so there is a lot of art. But if you're telling me, like, to conclude all these things, what can the people do with their talent if they have, or if they have interest in certain field? I would say, like, spending few minutes daily doing something like art or poetry or writing, or it adds value. It makes people feel more grounded and make them feel that they actually did something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me about painting or drawing, I would say, yes, why not? Like people can spend a little bit of time every day sketching or doing something that an abstract painting, or
Yeah.
and I find I find abstract is allows people to feel free to express themselves with whatever they want to, like pick the colors that you feel like it, and just do anything, doodle with paint, or so it's I know it's hard for people maybe to do this every day, but I would say maybe once a week, once a month. But
Yes.
don't put it aside for too long, because it really adds something. Yeah.
I completely agree. So I think we should all learn or benefit from Essel's advice here. Just take, when we're in bed, instead of looking at the mobile and seeing what's up on Facebook, just get like a pad, sketch, doodle, whatever time of day, as Essel said. And you don't have to pressure yourself to make it every day. It can be once a week or so on. And why I relate or agree with what you're saying is because my sister, she also likes art and she likes to sketch, but not abstract paintings. And she would, after her kids go to sleep, she'd always, or like sometimes, get out like a piece of paper and just sketch like things related to coffee and flowers. So when I see that in her, I can totally understand where you're coming from. So I'll probably do the same after this interview. So we'll see. So thank you for that. Like I don't know how, but like we've covered most of the questions. I've time has been flying by, and I feel I still have so much to share, but or so much to ask. But so I don't take much of your time. I'm just going to conclude with a two-parter question. So the first part of the question is, are there any future plans that you'd like to share with our audience? And then once you've shared them, maybe if you want to leave like a final message to conclude this awesome interview.
Yes. I created a slideshow to show you what I've been up to.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I have designed a course called Abstract Art Made Simple. I paint, I meditate. And it concludes everything that we said in the interview. I start by defining what abstract art is. And then I go a little bit in history and say, okay, why did I pick abstract art? Because in history, it's been like since the first man and until now, abstract art is there, and then I give an exercise for people. Then I explain how to create a successful abstract painting in 5 easy steps. Then I give them an exercise to apply what they've learned. Then I give them how would they know that this abstract painting is successful? And then I will ask them to analyze their paintings, each one of them. And then I will explain the connection between art, mindfulness, and meditation. Why do I say that they are connected?
Nice.
Then I will explain colors and like the identity, the temperature, meanings, and moods, and how does it affect our whole.
Yeah.
And then I give bonus steps for people who find that they have artist block, and what they do when they have it, and so mainly outdoor sketchbook is amazing tool, and the art journal is very, very important, and then the daily positive affirmation and daily gratitude. And here where positive psychology comes in.
Of course.
Yeah. And then I created a shorter version of this course called Paint for Delight. And that's, it's very simple, that people would, like, I will explain the same stuff, but in a very shorter and simpler way. And then I would ask people to pick the colors that they love and just start painting.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
this
so
is
fascinating.
Yeah.
How can people like join this course? Where can they go? Is it from the website that you shared, or is there another way?
This is something that I'm still working on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because in the technical aspect, I'm not very experienced, so I might need some help with that. But like, yeah, I want to do it online because that's how people from all around the world would be able to join. And I offered that in the Ottawa School of Art, where I teach now. Yeah, so that's how I do it.
Very fascinating. Well, whenever you're ready, please send me the link, and I'll be sure to share it on my page. I think a lot of people will impact from it. And I see that you have a quote here. Is that your final message for the day, or something you want to share with the viewers?
Yes, yeah, because like, I wanted to conclude what I've been talking about. So I truly believe that we practice mindfulness and meditation while painting, and that colors affect our mood and psychological and physical states. And I've done actually an experiment myself where I put different paintings in the place, and I focused on each painting for some time, and it really affected my mood. It really, like, the dark ones would make me feel a little bit sad and disturbed. If it has a disturbing message, it will directly comes into me, you know. And the pleasant ones are pleasant, like they give me good energy, and that's why I'm putting it behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is something that I really like. I experienced it myself, and I would love to share with you guys that it really affects our mood. Now, making art helps us clear our minds, regain our balance, and feel more grounded. It really makes us feel more grounded, and that's why I would invite anybody to just try to paint or try to do any form of art that they would love to do, and surround themselves. Like, even if you don't paint, I would suggest that you put the colors that you like, bring a painting that you love and put it in your space. You know, like, just surround yourself with the colors that you love, and that how you would feel good about it. But because I'm a painter, I would I would prefer that people paint and feel the meditation that painting brings in.
Definitely, especially if you've done the actual piece of art, it's a totally different vibe, or like an amplified vibe. It will make you feel even happier and more proud that you've done it. So I agree. I don't want to like comment on the quote. I feel you've given a wholesome vibe with this lovely conclusion. So I'll leave it at that. And I'll just say two things. Firstly, I want to sincerely thank our guest for today, talented artist Assel E-Rayes. As I said at the beginning, fun, beneficial, inspiring interview, and won't be the last, inshallah. Second, for anyone who's watching the recording and didn't catch our live session now, no problem. Just place your comments in the your questions in the comment section below on YouTube. I'll take them and convey them to Assel and come back to you with the answers as soon as we can. Assel, it was a great pleasure and honor having you today, and we should definitely do it again soon, inshallah.
Thank you so much. The pleasure and honor is mine. And I thank you for your invitation.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. And thank you to our viewers once more. And we'll see you in the next interview.